Ready, set, go.
Ringo, do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? It is, Cranko? Get you in frame here. Cranko, do you have any idea what time it is? Of course you don't. You're a small orange kitten with about half a brain cell. You know what time it is? It's time to listen to some sleep token. It's the new one. It's the one we've been all waiting for. All of you folks that have... Oh, jeez. Why do you need to jump over my headphone cord? It's all for all you people that have made This Place Will Become Your Tomb video, by and large, the most viewed video on my channel. It's basically between you guys and the Willow coping mechanism video. Those are the two ones that really are each other's, even close to being competition. Right now Sleep Token is definitely a little bit ahead. But those have been the two big ones, and hoo boy, the Church of Sleep has been putting in the work. They're doing the Lord's work, literally. And the time has finally come to listen to the third album by this band, Take Me Back to Eden, which came out exactly 1 week ago. And honestly, I'm touched that they released this album so close to my birthday. I do think that they meant to release this as my birthday present. That is how I'm interpreting the overall message of this album to be, is, you know, it's just one long sad boy prog rock way of saying happy birthday, Connor. You know, they don't need to say it. It's already been said. But with that said, we are going to listen to this whole album. We got ourselves 12 tracks. That is what I call a healthy album length. 12 tracks ends up going a little over an hour. So these are some meaty songs, as Sleep Token tends to make. I thought I was gonna go and do a bunch of research on the lore of this band. There was a whole video essay that I was gonna watch before listening to this, but life's been pretty crazy, and so here I am. I just sat down and was like, I just want to listen to this album. I want to stop skipping through it when it comes up on shuffle when I'm listening to my phone. I want to be able to listen to this music here and going forward into my life. I just want to have this music in my life. So here we are. I am finally unlocking this album for myself. And you get to bear witness to that, as is generally the procedure. So yeah, we're going to get started right frickin' away with track number 1, Chokehold, which is a fun title to have for your opener. That's a really fun title for your opening song. It's something called Chokehold. Let's find out what the frick this is all about. Take me back to Eden, Sleep Token. Also, if you're not familiar, if the phrase "take me back to Eden" doesn't make much sense to you, they're pulling a little bit of biblical reference here. Eden being the Garden of Eden, being the birthplace of the earth and cosmos. It was the first place where the biblical God put humanity and all the animals. They put them in this little garden. There were a couple of trees. You don't need to worry about the 2 trees That's not a problem for you. But it's mostly the idea that it was this like prehistoric utopia that humanity, ended up ruining. So this whole album of Take Me Back to Eden, it's wanting to be taken back to this time and place of innocence, of before things were corrupted. I get it. And with that said, we're gonna get started with Chokehold. Ooh. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh. Uh-huh. What is... Oh. It sounds like someone's like trying to open up Windows 2000 on their friggin' old computer in the background. Okay. Ooh, that is a texture that I don't much care for. Ooh. Okay, Vessel. You're showing up. Mm-hmm. They continue to be a band that likes to take their gosh dang time, and I love that for them. They're really letting this first verse breathe, so that when they do come in with the heavy stuff, it hits all the harder. This is good. I want it, like I'm getting a little impatient. I want to get to the good stuff, but I will respect the build. All right, we're starting with the sample drums. Oh. 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 I've talked a few times about the things musically that I'm just a sucker for. They're not necessarily like they don't have to be like super impressive things, but there are just a few things that when I hear them in a song, I'm like, nice, I like that. I don't care if it's not actually that difficult. I love hearing it. So it's halftime breakdowns, it's triplets. I can't remember what the other things were on my original list, but now I am adding to the list when they make the guitar sound like a siren. That shit goes. Every time, all the time. If you've got a guitar and it sounds like a freaking, like, emergency alert system, you keep that going. That's some good stuff right there. Highly recommend. Interesting. Oh. Oh. It's always interesting to kind of hear what little changes can happen in a singer's voice between albums, because your average album will be anywhere from like 4 to 6 years between, maybe maybe less, depending on how productive you are. You know, if you're freaking King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, you're pumping out 3 a year. But with a lot of artists, they end up going through quite a lot. You know, if you're talking about like, you know, your average person between like from 1 to 5 years, from the first year to the fifth year, that fifth year could be an entirely different person. You know, maybe not an entirely different person, but they could have changed a lot between those years. And the same can happen with singing, where like as you change as a person, as you grow, as you get older, your voice changes. And it's interesting to hear, like, as a listener, whenever your favorite band has come out with a new album and it's been a while since their last one, there's always going to be like just the slightest changes in their voice, whether they've gotten better or whether they've gotten older, and that's starting to affect the notes that they can hit or how they hit their notes. And in this case, it feels like Vessel's just gotten better. Feels like he's just like been working on his voice even more and more, and it's sounding really, really strong. Nice. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Nice. Okay. I want to let this... Okay, so they are fading it out. Cool. Neat. Okay. That was a really cool intro to this album. I love that. Love me a good hard-hitting breakdown into that between the Vorus and the second curse. The first chorus and the second verse. That really came in hard, and I loved it. Let's take a look at these lyrics. I am getting the sense that these ones are more tuned into the lore of the band than anything else, which makes sense, as this is sort of the intro to the album, kind of introducing what Vessel is going through as a worshiper of sleep, and what kind of things we're going to be going through in this album. So verse 1 is, when we were made, it was no accident. We were tangled up like branches in a flood. I come as a blade, a sacred guardian, so you keep me sharp and test my worth in blood. Okay, so that introduces things. So like, when we were made, and we were made on purpose, wasn't an accident. That's, you know, one of the first statements there. We were all tangled up. It was like chaos. And I guess the speaker, perhaps Vessel, is arriving as a blade to sort of split up those branches, keep things not necessarily organized, but sort things through. You know, a sacred guardian, and so this is a request to keep him sharp, test his worth in blood. So maybe part of this album is going to be like putting Vessel through some sort of tests. And then the chorus is, you've got me in a chokehold, and just repeats that line, which is an interesting following thought in this sense of like religious devotion not only being this thing of like, I am devoted to you, but you are ensuring that I am devoted to you. Like there's no out of this. So Then we got verse 2, which is, beneath the stormy seas, above the mountain peaks, is all the same to me. It makes no difference. I've seen my days unfold, done the impossible. I'll turn my walls to gold to bring you home again. So show me that which I cannot see, even if it hurts me, even if I can't sleep. Oh, and though we act out of our holy duty to be constantly awake, you've got me in a chokehold. There's a lot to do here, but it feels like also a little bit of a recap of like what Vessel has been through, and the lengths that they have gone to in order to express their devotion to sleep. Show me that which I cannot see, even if it hurts me, even if I can't sleep. Of like just totally open themselves up to whatever like unpleasant revelations or experiences are intended for them, which I think is a good opener for an album. Like now we're going to be taken through this journey of Vessel being put to the test. Perhaps that's a possible theory. And then the outro is, even if it hurts me, even if I can't sleep, show me the way. So it's this weird double-edged sword of like, you're not going to let me leave, so at least guide me, which is a weird relationship. But I think I think this band, the concept of the band, and the lore of it is a really interesting way of like exploring those themes of like religious devotion without question, and sort of the relationship between people and their religious beliefs, and how they interact with them, and how they feel about them, and how they let those beliefs determine how they live. And I'm curious to see how that plays into the rest of the album, which we are going to continue on with track 2, The Summoning. I don't know what we're summoning. Maybe we're just summoning Sleep himself. Would love to know. The album art for this particular song is sick. It's like this big armored figure with a giant freaking gun. That's so cool. I love that. Okay, let's get right to this. The Summoning. Hello. Okay. Panning around with some weird ambiance. Oh. Wait. What? Okay. Oh. What is the time signature here? What? What? Wait. Okay, well, this is in 4/4. Oh! Yo! Vessel! Oh! Jeez! They're pulling some friggin' Dream Theater-y shit around here. I love it. They've been working hard. They've been working on their craft, and it shows. Okay. All right. Jeez. Ooh. Okay. Oh. All right. Something completely different. Well, not completely different, but have you ever been like listening to like a metal song and then just felt like they've just suddenly switched to a different subgenre of metal? I feel like that's kind of what happened here. Ooh. One, two, three. Okay. For a second there, I thought it was 6/8, but they didn't give me enough time to figure it out. Ooh. We've got different kinds of screaming, too. Like, in the last album, it was mostly just, like, the sort of, like, low, growly, like, the sort of, ooh, that kind of stuff. But we had that was some high screaming, the more like, wah! That stuff. That's some fun stuff if you're able to mix it up there. Lovely. Ah, they're doing so well. I'm so proud. As someone that just got into the band like in the last 6 months, I'm so proud of them. Oh. All right. Okay. This is fun. Okay. Ooh. Got some pads in here now. Okay. We got a whole nother 2 minutes left in this song, and I guess this is what they're doing with it. Oh. Oh. Harmonies are getting a bit spicy. Getting a little bit minor suddenly. I thought. It's dipping in and out. Oh. I do love the piano. Oh. Oh. Whoa. What the hell? Whoa. We're getting friggin' funky up in here? With the quick stops and the freaking wah on the... I don't know if that's bass or a guitar, but... What the frick is going on here? What was that? Oh. Oh. Okay. All right. Yo. Oh, we have entered the land known as the Pocket. We are in the Pocket, USA. Well, actually, I guess in their case, it's the Pocket, UK. This is so different. I'm not sure I ever expected to hear this from Sleep Token, but no problems with it so far. Oh, with that drummer. Oh boy, that song went places. Oh my gosh. That was so cool. What the frick is going on here? That friggin' funk interlude there? That was so much fun and entirely unexpected. That was lovely. All right. Summoning. Let's take a look at these lyrics. The refrain goes, I've got a river running right into you. I've got a blood trail red in the blue. Something you say or something you do. The taste of the divine. And then the pre-chorus is, you've got my body, flesh, and bone. The sky above, the earth below. Okay, so we're in Midgard, as I was about to say. We're on Earth here, you know. We're in the middle area here. So maybe this is an earthly issue, an earthly affair. And then the chorus is, raise me up again, take me past the edge. I want to see the other side. Won't you show me what it's like? So there is this request for further knowledge, perhaps forbidden knowledge. You know, you've got this impetus to know more about the world beyond our understanding, beyond our comprehending, and whether that is rewarded or not is maybe up to interpretation. The bridge is very interesting as well, which kind of shifts to who the subject or the recipient of the song is. It goes, oh, and my love, did I mistake you for a sign from God, or are you really here to cast me off, or maybe just to turn me on? Because these days I would be lying if I told you that I didn't wish that I could be your man, or maybe make a good girl bad. Okay, so suddenly there's an interaction between a man and a woman that is being brought into the picture, and there are these questions of, should we be together? Should we be friends with benefits? I believe that's kind of what the or maybe just here to turn me on, as well as maybe make a good girl bad. It's like, do we want to be together at all? Do we want to be in a relationship? Do we want to just kind of keep it casual? So there's this question of did I mistake you for a sign from God, or are you really here to cast me off? Kind of this questioning of what are your intentions here? What do you actually want from me? Do you want anything from me? I wonder if we get a response. I wonder if we are able to infer from the rest of the album as to whether there's any end to that narrative piece. And then the final refrain is, I've got a river running right into you. I've got a blood trail red in the blue. Something you say or something you do, the taste of the divine. You've got my body, flesh, and bone. The sky above, the earth below. Nothing to say and nowhere to go. The taste of the divine. So I think that's the summoning, or sort of an invitation, you might say, is this guy is basically being we've crossed paths. There's something about you that seems special, that is attractive to me. We're here. We got the sky above us. We got the earth below us. We don't have much to say, and not very many other places to go. Do we maybe want to have a good taste of the divine? Which could be a euphemism, might not be, but that's kind of the easiest interpretation that I can take from here. The top comment on this song on Genius is making a baby to this song. Yeah, maybe we'll just leave it at that. Moving on to the next song, track number 3, Granite. The last song was 6.5 minutes long. There's a few songs on here that go a little over 6 minutes at least. Granite is not one of them. Granite is just under 4 minutes. So let's see what they've got for us in those under 4 minutes. Ooh. All right. Ooh. Okay. Why? Okay. All right, so we're starting off a little bit more of the pop sound. Okay. All right, interesting. I know that usually means they'll drop in pretty heavy later on, and I'm anticipating that. But let's see where they're going with this. Nice harmonies. Okay. All right. We're sticking a little bit to the pop so far. Another verse in. Interesting. It's starting to be a bit more of a bop. It's still sample drums, but the sample drums are hitting a little bit harder. So we'll see where we're going here. Death threats? I'm sorry, what? Okay. Okay. Damn. Okay. Aha. I'm scrolling down these lyrics and I see a little bracket that says instrumental break. So we might have something, a bit of a treat waiting for us at that point. Okay, here we go. Okay. We're dropping out so that we can come back in harder. Coming back in harder, we're building. We're coming in back into something. Oh, there it is. Ah, oh, that's lovely. They do their dropouts so well. Like that. Like that. Ah. Oh. Awesome. Lovely. I will say that one's, I would say that's probably one of the more like standard format songs on the album, it seems. You know, you got your classic verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus. There's no bridge, just the instrumental break, and then a final chorus. So, you know, pretty run-of-the-mill stuff, but even run-of-the-mill for Sleep Token is still pretty enjoyable. Great. Let's take a look at these lyrics real quick. Verse 1. Sulfur on your breath, granite in my chest. You won't ever have to talk about it. You'll never want to talk about it. Fury too damn late. Reason dislocates, and you'll never have to talk about it. You'll never want to talk about it. And there's an annotation here. The imagery of sulfur on your breath and granite in my chest suggests a sense of toxicity, walking on eggshells, and that the situation is heavy in nature. Whereas fury too damn late, and reason dislocates suggests the experience that the situation has and is still creating frustration and tension in the relationship. The line "you'll never want to talk about it" implies the writer continues to be upset by an absent partner in this situation who refuses to discuss the issues or their relationship in general. Great. So we got a check engine light is on in the relationship dashboard, and we're not taking a stop to get it fixed. In fact, we're not even acknowledging it. And then chorus, with that in mind, is I was more than just a body in your passenger seat, and you were more than just somebody I was destined to meet. I see you go half blind when you're looking at me, but I am. Between the secondhand smoke and the glass on the street, you gave me nothing whatsoever but a reason to leave. You say you want me, but you know I'm not what you need, but I am. Interesting. Okay. So then they're saying, like, despite the fact that we have this sort of like non-present partner, or someone that doesn't want to address the problems in their relationship, and then we are saying, like, I'm not just like some, piece of meat that goes on walks with you, and you are not just someone that I was eventually going to meet and interact with for a time. I see you go half blind when you're looking at me. So he can tell that this other person is kind of zoning out and just kind of disengaging, not putting in the care or the attention. But they continue and be like, you gave me nothing whatsoever but a reason to leave. Like, you gotta do something with these frustrations. But you're kind of in the middle here. You say, you want me, but you know I'm not what you need. But I am. Which, I don't know if the but I am is saying I am what you need, which is kind of a weird claim to make. It's kind of I don't know how I feel about someone being like, no, you need me. Has kind of weird off-putting vibes. But I don't know if that's what they're trying to say with that line. Cool. The second verse, because after that we just have the chorus. The second verse is when you'd sit there acting like you know me, acting like you only brought me here to get below me. Never mind the death threats parting at the door. We'd rather be 6 feet under than be lonely. And if you had a problem, then you should have told me before you started getting all aggressive and controlling. You only drink the water when you think it's holy. So keep an eye on the road or we will both be here forever. Jeez. Okay, we're getting into some heavy stuff here. Sit there acting like you know me, acting like you only brought me here to get below me, which I feel like we are aware of what that's referring to. If you're not aware, it's a euphemism they want to get laid. I feel like I've made it clear enough. I feel like I've made those last few seconds, I think, are really all the explanation that you need. And if you had a problem, then you should have told me before you started getting all aggressive and controlling. You only drink the water when you think it's holy. Is that a reference to, like, alcoholism? Because that coupled with the, like, before you started getting all aggressive and controlling. Like, if you think you have a problem with drinking, then that should have been brought up before this, like, other problematic behavior started coming out of that, right? So keep an eye on the road or we will both be here forever. Basically saying either you get your shit together and realize that, like, we're both in this, or we're both gonna be on this road forever dead. Which reminds me of the song Reckless Driver by Lizzie McAlpine, I believe. Approaches a similar issue from a different angle. Highly recommend listening to that song. But yeah, that is Granite. That's getting a little. That's some good stuff. Good sort of state of, like, standard line sleep token right there is what that is. We're moving on to Aqua Regia. Aqua Regia. Not entirely clear on which syllable to emphasize, but this is what we're looking at. Just under 4 minutes, this one as well. Oh, hello. All right. They love starting with the synths. They love it. Ooh. And we're going into the piano. Ooh. Oh, what was that? Okay. What? Oh, Regia. Okay. All right. Oh. Oh. This does not sound healthy. Oh, if it's all good, I guess. Oh, no. Acid flux doesn't sound good. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Piano, you're hitting some spicy chords there. It feels like you're getting a little dissonant there. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Very piano heavy song, this one. Like, we're in the last chorus. I think this is about as heavy as we get for this song, which I don't have a problem with. This band knows their dynamics. They know when to chill out for a little bit. And they're not necessarily chilling out entirely, but it is a little bit more, slightly more relaxed than their loud and heavy stuff. And I respect their choice and appreciate it. To keep things a little bit on the down low every now and then. Interesting. Okay. That was a very cool song. They were getting a little jazzy in there. Not full jazz, but like some of those chords were pretty obscure, pretty fancy if I do say so myself. Let's take a look at these lyrics. Verse 1. Well, my love is an animal call, cutting through the darkness, bouncing off the walls. Between teeth on a broken jaw, following a blood trail, frothing at the maw. And maw is one of those words that I think begs to be pronounced in a British accent. You know, it sounds weird for me to say maw. You know, because I'm not really adding anything to it. But when you say mole, you know, frothing at the mole. And suddenly you're like, yes, that is how that word is supposed to be said. That's how that's supposed to sound. But it also sounds weird for me to just be like, oh yeah, there's this line of frothing at the mall. And that's just the way I say it every single time. That would be weird. So it's a lose-lose situation on my end. Carrying on. These days, I'm a circuit board, integrated hardware. You cannot afford the perfect start to a perfect war, putting down the roses, picking up the sword. And then followed by Aqua Regia, which I am going to look up. Okay, yes. In the About section, Aqua Regia, a mixture of concentrated nitric and hydrochloric acids, usually 1 part of the former to 3 parts of the latter, by volume. This mixture was given its name, literally royal water, okay, by the alchemists because of its ability to dissolve gold. Interesting. Okay. Because I knew, like, obviously you've got Aqua in there, and then Regia for a second there, I thought it was, like, referring to, like, region. Like an area, but Regia as in, like, regal also makes sense. So royal water. Cool. Okay, so with that in mind, what do we make of the rest of these lyrics? Verse 2. My past is a holy book, a call from Olympus ringing off the hook. Between the pain and the way you look, I'm stuck in a time where the mountains shook. And these days I'm a picture frame, screaming at the sunshine, singing in the rain. Sugar on the blood cells, carbon on the brain, all of Eden's vices running through my veins. Okay. I feel like I've got an idea of what this might be about, but I don't want to wait until I get through all of the lyrics to kind of formulate my thoughts here. The bridge, which I think provided the best clue to me right off the top as to what the song might be about, which goes, "Oh, when I am done dancing to alarm bells, no wonder my ears are still ringing. And I am done fighting off change, no wonder my arms are still swinging." So my running theory, my running interpretation of this song is the idea of dealing with the negative aspects of your own, like, natural inclinations. And kind of the way, like, however your brain chemistry has ended up, dealing with that and the repercussions of it. So, like, my love is an animal call cutting through the darkness, bouncing off the walls between teeth on a broken jaw, following a blood trail, frothing at the maw. These days I'm a circuit board, integrated hardware you cannot afford, the perfect start to a perfect war, putting down the roses, picking up the sword. So these days he's a circuit board. He has all of these electric pathways in his head that are already preset, you know? They've been set in by experience, by trauma, by addiction, whatever. Integrated hardware you cannot afford. So there's this disconnection of, like, he knows that his brain is unique to him as anyone else's is. And that setup being the perfect start to a perfect war. It's this unavoidable thing of, like, it's a piece of you, but it's also going to cause conflict. Putting down the roses, picking up the sword. I'm going to try and see... I realize that doesn't necessarily connect to the idea of royal or holy water quite yet, but give me a second here. My past is a holy book, call from Olympus ringing off the hook. My past is a holy book. So his past is this sort of guide to understanding him. Is the idea that I'm going to go with here. And these days I'm a picture frame, screaming at the sunshine, singing in the rain, sugar on the blood cells, carbon on the brain, all of Eden's vices running through my veins. So he is being controlled, or sort of largely influenced by all of these different chemicals that operate his body. Maybe that's what he's referring to by Aqua Regia, is the royal water is that combination of chemicals that he is now working with in his body and in his brain, that kind of, you know, has a large hand in how he interacts with his life. Which I think also fits with the chorus. And then when we get to the bridge, when I am done dancing to alarm bells, no wonder my ears are still ringing. Right? So that's your classic sort of, like, operation from trauma, is even if there is no threat anymore, your brain is still in threat mode, and so you keep, you know, your body still feels like you are in danger, or you are still being affected by the thing, whether you are or are not. similarly with "And I am done fighting off change, no wonder my arms are still swinging." It's that thing of like inertia, of like the body is going to keep doing what it feels it should be doing until it finds a solid reason to stop. Which is continuing from that thing of like being controlled or driven by all of the different sort of neurochemical factors going on for you. That's my theory for this song. I think it's pretty good, but I am willing to hear people out on other interpretations. Yeah, we're going to keep moving to track number 5, Vore, which I'm kind of expecting to be on the heavier side just because it's a song called Vore. Like, I don't know what else you would expect it to be. Like, you would expect a song called Vore to, like, be a little crunchy, right? Is that just me? Is anyone else feeling that? No? Okay. Let's listen to Vore. Okay. Yep. It's at least a little gritty. Okay. We got the static. We got some weird sounds. I was right. Ooh. Ooh, we're screaming right away. Ooh. I don't think we've had like a full verse immediately come in just screaming. Like, it's always been some kind of like melodic introduction into the song, and then as things get heavy, then they get to a point where like it's hitting hard enough that a scream is justified. Like they've taken the time to earn the scream. But I agree that in the arc of the album, coming after Aqua Regia, I think they've earned this this right away quick hit or heavy hit. Oh. Okay. Clearing up. No, I am not. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. I actually really like the way that the first verse came in and like led to where we are now, because like that screaming and the like right away like hard hitting fast drums, like an immediate sense of urgency, which then now we're in this pre-chorus where we're asking questions, and because we've been introduced with this like sense of like panic, like anger, urgency, that like effect carries on to these lyrics, where like maybe these questions that we're now asking could, if they were doing the intro to the song any other way, these questions might end up being a bit more passive. But now that we've had that sort of like then these questions are like, is this what's gonna happen? I feel like we need to know sooner than later, because this feels important, right? Because suddenly everything feels important, because you've been shocked into this song. All right, we got an outro left. Ooh. Ooh. We're fading it out on that. Interesting. Okay. That's a choice. I'm not sure I'm necessarily into the fade on a song like that. I feel like that would want to have some sort of like nice thumpy conclusion to it. Sometimes a fade out ending to a song almost makes it feel like they didn't know how to end the song, which I'm not saying is the case here, but it doesn't not feel like that, right? So, I don't know. I've got a very minor gripe, is what that is. But for the most part, that was fantastic. That was a nice shock to the system. Loved that so much. Let's see if there's any like particular intent about this song, Vore. So if you're not familiar with Vore, it's a subsection of fetish culture, I guess is what you would say, where people get turned on by people getting eaten, whether piece by piece or entirely whole. That's just what that is. But most of it, strangely, a piece of it is like people are more into it if the thing that gets eaten or consumed like stays alive within the thing that's eaten them. I don't know. I'm not trying to like vouch for that or anything. I'm also not trying to condemn it, but like it's weird. It's not necessarily like inherently harmful, but it's a bit odd. And sleep token, according to the about section here, sleep token utilizes I don't know if that's supposed to be a collective or the band sleep token utilizes the namesake as a metaphor, as many Vore artists and authors do, for a perverse but uniquely intimate affection. So there's that, which, you know, you can be into, you can be not into. Take a look at these lyrics. Verse 1, you have become the voice in my head, only recourse were left after death. Your viscera welcome me in. Welcome me in, my life is torn, my bones they bleed. My metaphors fall short in the end. Your flesh and bone welcome me in. Welcome me in. And then in brackets, are you in pain like I am? Pre-chorus, will we remain stuck in the throat of gods? Will the pain stop if we go deeper? Which really, like, I think that's where we really like get into sleep tokens interpretation on the references or the cultural references that they're using here. Is sleep token is like, what if you got eaten by your god? You know, what would that even mean for you? And will your pain as a human flesh person would that stop if you were to just keep going in? Don't know how much I want to think about that question, so we're going to keep moving. Chorus, let's get swallowed whole. Just comes right out and say it. I want to go where nobody else will ever go. Which, unfortunately, I hate to break this to you, Sleep Token. There seems to be a undiscountable number of people that would also want to go where you're going. Don't hate to be the bearer of bad news here. And then the refrain is, there's always something in the way. I want to have you to myself for once. Follow me between the jaws of fate so I can have you to myself for once. So yeah, it is really just like it. I don't think they're necessarily like trying to land on a conclusion here. They're just exploring this kind of relationship, I guess, in the context of, you know, what the concept of Sleep Token is. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think the concept of Vore actually fits quite nicely into the world of religious commentary. We literally have, you know, one of the biggest, like, sort of ceremonial pieces of Christianity is where you're eating the blood and body of Jesus. So maybe it's not as out of left field as I might like to make it. But that's interesting. That song freaking slapped. Went hard in every sense of the word. We're gonna move on to the next song, and the final song in this front half of the album, which is Ascensionism. The belief in ascension, I guess? Are we going to be ascensionists? Ascensionistic, perhaps? This is the second longest song on the album, going just barely over 7 minutes. So this is gonna be a freaking trip. And we're starting with the piano.
Well, I know what you want from me. You want someone to be.
This is reminding me of the fact that when I was really getting into This Place Will Become Your Tomb, and was like playing it around the house, I showed it to my older sibling, and they mentioned as they were listening, they were like, "This sounds like those old like Christian hard rock, like Christian metal bands that we used to listen to as kids." Like, they were like, "This sounds like Red." I don't know if any of you are aware of the band Red, but they were a Christian hard rock band, and like the lyrics were giving off like weird worshipy vibes, as they should, and I think their impressions of that, and not entirely being sure like where this band was from or what they were trying to do, kind of turned off the vibes, until I mentioned what the band is about, and how they are technically a worship band, just not necessarily for any particular organized religion. And once that became clear, they were like, all right, this is pretty sick. just thought that'd be an interesting thing. And I say that because this like intro where you've got this like very light emotional piano over the vocals that are very like light and breathy and low, also harken back to that sort of like it can occasionally remind me of like standard worship songs, because they often start that exact same way. But these guys go to some more interesting places than your standard worship song does. Cool.
Who made you like this?
Oh,
Who encrypted your dark gospel in body language? Sign
okay.
snap back in blissful language. Tell me you met me in past lives, past light, past what might be eating me from the inside, darling. Half algorithm, half deity, glitches in the code, or gaps in a strange dream. Tell me you guessed my future and it mapped onto your fantasy. Tell me into your mannequin and I'll turn you into my puppet creator.
Damn. All right.
Show me what you are. I am desperate to know. Nobody better than the perfect enemy. Digital demons make the night feel heavenly.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Okay. Oh. Oh. This is just like a hip hop pop song. Is what this is right now. It's a friggin' bop. It's a really good song. But man, they're like, your standard pop song would have been over by now. And we're at 3 minutes 12 seconds. That's the average length of your top 40 track, and we are not even halfway. Ooh. Hello. Nice. Nice. Okay. Okay. Oh. Something crunchy's coming in. Oh. You know, I was just having a thought. Like, that last breakdown sounded a lot like it sounded like the breakdown from The Love You Want, which I love that breakdown. It sounded a lot like the breakdown from, I guess, Granite might have been the one. But like, and I was listening to them and listening to it and being like, yeah, this kind of sounds like a standard Sleep Token breakdown. I don't like the fact that I'm maybe getting bored of it, but that was the exact moment that they cut that part off and went into this part, which is a really nice switch up. Really appreciate that. They're listening and they're adjusting to what I need from a song. So thank you, Sleep Token, for this wonderful birthday gift. Ooh. Oof. Okay. Back to the piano.
From me, so I'll take what I want, then leave.
Ooh. We're back into it. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Nice. Ooh. Boy, Ascensionism. Oh, that was lovely. Okay. I love those. Oh, that was such a good breakdown. But also, like, that whole first bit of just being this, like, chill, like, telling the important story beats first with the sort of, like, hip-hop stuff underlaying that. And then, like, once you've told the story bit, then you go into the metal instrumentals. Was really strong choice there. I'm getting a sense that this one is definitely on the more heavy lore side. So let's see. We'll see what we can do as far as what we can make of it here. So, intro is, well, I know what you want from me. You want someone to be your reflection, your bitter deception, setting you free. So you take what you want and leave. And then the first verse, who made you like this? Who encrypted your dark gospel in body language? Synapses snap back in blissful anguish. Tell me you met me in past lives, past life, past what might be eating me from the inside, darling. Half algorithm, half deity. Glitches in the code or gaps in a strange dream. Tell me you guessed my future and it mapped onto your fantasy. Turn me into your mannequin and I'll turn you into my puppet queen. There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot to unpack here. This is getting very intimate. Particularly like the whole thing of like who encrypted your dark gospel in body language. Synapses snap back in blissful anguish. So there's this weird like disconnect happening. There's this weird like tonal dissonance that's going on. Tell me you met me in past lives, past life, past what might be eating me from the inside. Half algorithm, half deity. Oh, interesting. So there's this one annotation that is saying, speaking to his other half, Half-Rhythm, who he created music with through previous project Blacklit Canopy. Further references to this band are in this song. Half Deity also implies that she is a part of who is now Vessel, or that she is Sleep itself. There's a lot to like unpack there. I think there's a little bit too much from me personally to really pick apart there, so I'm not gonna read too much into that. Tell me you guessed my future and it mapped onto your fantasy. Turn me into your mannequin and I'll turn you into my puppet queen. So maybe it's this relationship, maybe this person that they're with like was, you know, someone that like believed in their career or their like artistic pursuits or endeavors, and it fit with what she wanted for her life. And from that, she used those sort of shared dreams to manipulate him and sort of become his puppet master or puppet queen, as they put it here. Then verse 2, won't you come and dance in the dark with me? Show me what you are. I am desperate to know. Nobody better than the perfect enemy. Digital demons make the night feel heavenly. Make it real. Because anything's better than the way I feel right now. I can offer you a black-lit paradise. Diamonds in the trees. Pentagrams in the night sky. Okay, let's take that first half. So maybe there is... So, like, digital demons make the night feel heavenly. Maybe they're talking about, like, the electronic aspect of a relationship, like texting. I don't know. That feels a little shallow for that to be the answer. It's mainly this thing of like, come and dance in the dark with me, show me what you are. I am desperate to know. Nobody better than the perfect enemy. So like, there's just this sense of like, I'm with you, but I don't feel like I know who you are or what you want. Even if it's bad, I want to know. Nobody better than the perfect enemy, right? This enemy that like keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. You feel like you might be the one being kept closer. And then blacklit paradise, also a reference to that past musical project. Diamonds in the trees, pentagrams in the night sky. So like something beautiful, but also something evil. Okay, so maybe this is about a past relationship. Of how like he's proud of the work that he made with this person, but it's been tainted by the person that he made it with. Which is an interesting idea. Interesting thing to write about. And then the fourth, so the breakdown is where they say you're gonna watch me ascend, as in, like, you're gonna see me become way more successful than we did with the last project, and you just gotta deal with that. And then the final verse is, I know what you want from me. You want the same as me. My redemption, eternal ascension, setting me free. So I'll take what I want, then leave. Which is this interesting, like, reckoning. The annotation puts it, the person who wanted him to become famous may have wanted the same for themselves. The vessel sees his ascent to fame to be setting him free from his past. But he knows he can take it and leave it, as it wasn't what he wanted, but what he or she wanted in this story. Right. So, whether it was a good thing to be with this other person that also wanted to be famous, and they went through all these experiences with each other, better and worse. He is now in a situation where he is doing better. He is succeeding. He is finding fame. But he still has the lessons from the experience with the other person. So he can take what he wants from that and continue to move forward. The attempt to ascend from your past, but also to take what you need from it, that will aid you on your path forward. I think that's really cool. We're going to move into the second half of the album. Track 7, Are You Really Okay? Am I really okay? I think so. I think I'm doing pretty well. I think I'm doing all right. Are you really okay? You doing okay? You drinking water? You should drink water. I should drink water. We're all drinking water. Wherever you are, drink some freaking water. We'll all do it here right now together. Maybe not right now, because, like, you know, I'm drinking water at like 10:50 something p.m. on a Friday. You might not be drinking at the same time, but like, I'm giving you the cue from the past. Drink water. All right, let's listen to this. Ooh. Oh, that's pretty. That's nice. That's so cool. This is lovely. Like, it sounds really sweet. You know? Like, it doesn't, like, even like the past Sleep Token songs that have anything to do with like love or relationships, there's always this like, it's this sort of like bittersweet at best, mostly like sad with a tinge of frustration to it, even if you are, you know, even if they are like speaking about the subject in an affectionate way. But like, this sounds like genuinely like sweet, like wholesome, at least for now.
I raised you in the dark, caught you reading by the sunrise. You wandered from the path through the silence of the hillside. Don't you know?
If this is what the entire song is, I kind of actually hope that's what this whole song is. It's just this really, like, we've had a strong first half. I think it's totally fine to, like, drop down for a bit, build back up to another, you know, Vore point. Or even just, you know, there's another, but we've not hit the longest song on the album yet, so maybe we're building back up to something for that. So if this song stays quiet, I think that'd be pretty good. It doesn't have to, but I think it could, and I think that'd be good. Ooh. Oh, this is so pretty. I think with this particular like chord progression, even if it does go heavy, I think it's just got that like sort of, it's major enough, these chords, that I think even if they do go heavy, I want it to stay in this sort of, that sort of musical zone of like keeping those, like if they hit it big with big chords, I want those chords to stay like sort of bright and hopeful. And again, I'm not saying they need to go big, but if they do, I want it to be like holding on to this sound, because you're not gonna, I feel like this is a very rare point in a Sleep Token album. They only allow a couple of these kinds of songs per album. So I think, yeah, take the time to appreciate them.
I saw it in your eyes, cutscene deeper than the scars could run. And don't you know?
I think I just realized what this song is about. I'm gonna be sad. This is gonna make me sad. I like it, but now I'm sad.
Don't you know? I want to help you, but I don't know how.
Oh, this is exactly what I wanted. If they went big. Oh boy, this is hitting hard.
Please don't hurt yourself again. Just please don't hurt yourself again.
God damn it. Well, of all the things, I don't know why I didn't expect this band to make me cry. I don't know why I didn't expect that. They've got the chops for it. They've got the songwriting know-how. But I just was not ready. Okay. Jeez. Um I think for my own good, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on these lyrics, not because they're not good. They're very well written. Um, but I think well, I guess okay, we'll take through a few of the verses, but I think some of them like are just heavy enough that I don't want to linger too long on them. Verse 1, I raised you in the dark, caught you reading by the sunrise, you wandered from the path through the silence of the hillside. And the pre-chorus, and don't you know I could see it in you even then? And don't you know I was trying to hold back the darkness? And then the chorus goes into, and are you really okay? Are you really okay? Verse 2 is probably the heaviest one, and I'm not gonna read the lyrics, but basically it's the second verse is the one where it becomes pretty clear that this is a song about, Vessel, or, the singer of the song is singing to someone that is struggling with self-harm. And they're seeing, I guess there was some sort of incident of them waking up Vessel at night because they had hurt themselves more than they were ready for, maybe, or more than they expected. And I love how honest and just like it's very honest and plain as to like this perspective is. Like things like I want to help you but I don't know how is a really good line. As well as I cannot fix your wounds this time, but I don't believe you when you tell me you are fine. Because as much as like if you are friends with someone that like that they struggle with that stuff, you want to be as good of a friend to them as you can, and you want to help them out as much as you can. But at a certain point, you're gonna find a point where you're just kind of at a loss and you don't know what to do. And even if they do get better, there's going to be a piece of you that has a hard time believing that things can get better. Which is your own thing to deal with and your own thing to work out by yourself. But stuff like that often ends up getting projected onto, your friends and relationships. And it affects how you perceive other people's recovery, right? And then we just get to the outro, which is obviously the thing that broke me, is them just being like at a loss and saying, don't hurt yourself again. And then I think the thing that really hits hard is the second line is just, please don't hurt yourself again. And just pleading. Yeah. This is a good song. I like it. It's good. This for what it's about, this song sounds exactly like how I would want it to. Of like gentle Jesus Christ. Gentle, meaning well, but there's also this thing of like almost frustration of just like trying to figure out if there's a combination of words that you could say that would make them feel better enough that they wouldn't hurt themselves. You know, trying to figure that out and trying to figure out what you can do as a friend to help them, and coming up against the fact that you can't control people, for better or for worse. You cannot, and you cannot force people to make a choice like that, right? You shouldn't have that power, even if you want it, for good reasons. Yeah, I'm gonna keep moving. That was a heavy intro or heavy start to the second half. Jeez. All right, we're moving to the Apparition. Track 8. Maybe we can get some more bops. Can we get another funk interlude in here? Can we get that? I feel like that would help me a lot right now.
Why are you never real? Whenever you appear, you leave me with that grace. I am trembling with fear, but I know that you will disappear just as I awake, a whisper in my ear. Well, I believe that somewhere in the past something was between you and I, my dear, and it remains with me to this day. No matter what I do, the scar will never fade.
Ooh. Reminds me of the synths from High Water, which I suppose are also the synths from Jaws. So maybe this is a continuation of that whole narrative. Ooh. All right. All right. What are we doing with the bridge? Nice. Oh. This also feels like a very like standard Sleep Token drop. Like this particular part sounds like they've done a few different versions of this breakdown a few different times. They're sparse enough and like, you know, far enough between I don't mind it as much, but it is starting to feel a little bit like those bits are starting to feel a bit samey. Not the most unforgivable crime, but gotta be careful. Got my eyes on you, Sleep Token. Ooh. Nice. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. A little odd. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Nice. That's groovy. Cool. Okay. And I will say, regarding the like sameness of those breakdowns, I find, and this is something that I also need to work with, and I think any musician needs to work on, is, you know, broadening your horizons on musical choices that you can make. And the best way to do that is to listen to as many different types of music as you can. These guys are doing really well, like incorporating the like pop and hip hop elements into it. But I also think that like, yeah, different, like you'll hear different little choices in different genres of music. You'll hear different, like particularly drum fills. You'll hear different drum fills from a country band than you will from a metal band, or you'll hear different stuff from a metal band than you will from like an Afro beats group, you know, or from like an alt pop artist or band, stuff like that. You want to listen to different ways that people make music, so you can get a sense of what you can do with your rhythms, because a lot of those, like the sort of like do 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 do, that's kind of their basic rhythm that they do with a lot of these breakdowns. And that's not a unique Sleep Token rhythm, obviously. You can hear a lot of different bands doing their own version on that. But even within that, finding different rhythms that you can drop into in a song other than that specific rhythm. Yeah, don't want that to sound like a scathing criticism, just, you know, a note. Maybe it's just the fact that it's called the Apparition makes me feel like it's a little bit more on the lore side. Let's take a look here. Intro goes, "Why are you never real? Whenever you appear, you leave me with that grace. I am trembling with fear, but I know that you will disappear just as I awake. Whisper in my ear." Okay, so this is probably talking to sleep. This thing of like having this entity communicate with you in ways that are hard to grasp or hard to like verify that you have received this input. Especially when you're working with a god like sleep, where literally they'll communicate to you just during your dreams, just when you're asleep. That's a tricky situation for us humans, because we have a hard time, for the most part, remembering dreams. Maybe there's a few of us that have a better consistent memory of what our dreams are like. Maybe some of us do our dream journals. But for most of us, you go to sleep, you dream. Doesn't matter how crazy the dream was, you wake up a few minutes later, couldn't tell you what happened. But that's kind of what we're working with. But the problem is that the things that are being communicated in these dreams are from this god that this character is, you know, they take their input very seriously, which makes it very frustrating when you wake up and can't remember what's been said to you. And then the chorus is, "Well, I believe somewhere in the past something was between you and I, my dear, and it remains with me to this day. No matter what I do, this scar will never fade." So even if these messages or dreams are not necessarily getting communicated clearly, there's still this undeniable like connection, this sort of tether that Vessel is sort of holding on to. Hang on. Then the refrain goes, so let's make trouble in the dream world. Hijack heaven with another memory now. I make the most of the turning tide. I just split what's left of the burning silence. Don't wait, 'cause this could be the last time you turn up in the reveries of my mind. I wake up to a suicide frenzy. Loaded dreams still leave me empty. Okay. So it's basically like saying, let's take advantage of what I can experience in my dreams and then split what's left of the burning silence. So take as much as you can from the memories of your dreams, and don't wait to write it down or make what you can of it, because it could be the last time. And then I'm guessing the suicide frenzy, loaded dreams still leave me empty, is the whole thing of you wake up and suddenly all of those dreams and all of those events have just poofed themselves, as you might say. Then the bridge is, why are you never real? The shifting states you follow me through, unrevealed. Just let me go or take me with you. So it is coming to a head of this thing of like, why can't you give me something tangible, right? You keep shifting between states in a way that like doesn't actually show me anything. So like either get out of here, like sever this connection, or actually take me where you go, right? Is sort of that ultimatum that's put up. And who's to know if sleep gives a reply? I don't know. But we're gonna move on to track number 9, DYWTYLM, which, before I even start the song, I am going to find out. I think it's, yes, it's Do You Wish That You Loved Me, is what that all stands for. So, with that in mind, let's take a listen. Ooh, what is going on here? What? What?
Do you roll with the waves? Or do you duck into deep blue safety? Is it always the same?
Okay. Feeling very produced. Very, very produced right now.
Do you wish that you loved me?
Okay. Ooh. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Ooh, that's kind of filthy.
Is there something you give that you will never receive in
This is a bop.
return? Do you know what it is? Do you wish that you loved me? Could we ever release? Is it better to just not feel? Can we hit delete? Do you wish that you loved me? And it's been so long that I'm forgetting what it feels like.
Okay, so far my thought has been, because as soon as they had those like extra little like the little melody going on with the pads there, I was kind of waiting for it to do like they've been doing kind of like a halftime rhythm through these past verses and choruses, but I was kind of hoping for it to be a little bit up tempo more, like almost like a normal time, like I guess double time of what they're doing right now, of like a, rather than a doop 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 doop, it would be more of like a doop 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 doop, just to kind of keep up the pace a bit, and it would be, I feel like it would be a cool, like, fun choice to have all of these, like, very, like, heavy, self-reflective, like, introspective questions being asked over a beat that is, a little bit more cheerful, you might say. A little bit more of, like, kind of a nice walking pace. I think that would be a cool contrast, and I think I would prefer that over what they're doing here. But it's not that bad. It is still a bop, but I'm just saying what I wish I was hearing.
Oh, whoa. Do you wish that you loved me? Do you wish that you loved me? Small bird. Do you wish that you loved me? Do you wish that you loved me? Oh, whoa. Do you wish that you loved me?
Interesting. That is the first full song on this album that did not go... Well, I guess there was also Aqua Regia. I think also stayed fairly tame there. But that one stayed real low-key for the most part. And for that reason, I stand by my point that I think the beat could have gone a little bit harder. Just a little bit. Keep the sample drums, just make it a little bit more up tempo. Yeah, I think so far I think this is probably my least favorite track on the album. Not that it's a bad song. It's just there's not a whole lot for me here to hold on to. I think the lyrics here are really interesting. I like this it's just non-stop questions. Verse 1, do you roll with the waves or do you duck into deep blue safety? For example, the tomb that this place will become. Is it always the same? Do you wish that you loved me? Do you pull at the chains or do you push into constant aching? Each and every day do you wish that you loved me? So I feel like this is also Vessel singing to sleep. Which, I mean, it could be argued that every Sleep Token song is about Vessel singing to sleep. But there seems to be this really interesting, like, arc of Vessel's almost like faith crisis, I think. Because it seems like Vessel has come to terms with the fact that they don't have an actual close relationship with sleep. And so now they're just sort of at this point of like, is there anything that I can connect to you on? Like, what do you do? Do you feel restless at all? Do you ever wish that you had stronger feelings for me? Like, did you ever wish that you could reciprocate the way that I feel about you? Even going into verse 2, is there something you give that you will never receive in return? Do you know what it is? Do you wish that you love me? Are you trying to live like everything is a lesson to learn? Can you ever forgive yourself? Do you wish that you love me? So then we're getting into, like, I wonder if, like, Vessel is now starting to project onto sleep. Like, maybe sleep feels like there is something that they give that they will never receive in return. And I have a feeling that Vessel knows exactly what it is. Maybe Vessel is living like everything is a lesson to learn. That's something that can be really prevalent in, like, religious circles of, like, everything is meant to be, everything is either a blessing or a lesson, right? And so getting stuck in that mentality can be very frustrating and also very isolating. And then the chorus is, my reflection just won't smile back at me like I know it should. And I would turn into a stranger in an instant if I could. And there is something eating me alive. I don't know what it is. Maybe not that you conceal your feelings. They just don't exist. Which, man, it's really just like coming to terms with the fact that they are dealing with an entity that will not respond in any way that will ever like make sense or really connect with them. Maybe not that you conceal your feelings, they just don't exist. Like whatever feelings sleep might, or Vessel might have for sleep, sleep is just simply incapable of having those feelings back. And just like realizing that that's the nature of the relationship here. Verse 3, do you ever believe that we can turn into different people? It's getting harder to be, and then in brackets, myself. Do you wish that you loved me? Can we ever release? Is it better to just not feel? Can we hit delete? Do you wish that you loved me? Like maybe it's better to follow sleep's lead and just flatline on the emotions, right? It sounds like Vessel was just trying to figure out where do I go from here? Because I've been, like, my identity has been this, like, devoted follower of you, and I'm not getting anything from it. I feel like that's what, like, it's getting harder to be myself is maybe getting at. And then the, like, little echoed parts at the end at the outro are smile back at me, please smile back at me. Just this, like, desperate pleading to get some sort of response. That's very sad. That's unfortunate. We're gonna keep moving. I'm very interested to see how this narrative can, like, resolves and where it lands. We're gonna move on to track number 10, which is Rain.
For so long I've waited, so long that I almost became just a stoic statue fit for nobody, and I don't wanna get in your way, but I finally think I can say that the vicious cycle was over the moment you smiled at me.
Okay.
And just like the rain,
Ooh.
you cast the dust into
We got the stomp claps from the Love You Want back in here. I like it.
up like the moon and out like the hounds. A dangerous disposition, somehow refracted in light, reflected in sound. I'm coiled
Ooh.
up like a venomous serpent.
Okay.
In your trance and I'm certain.
It's been a while since they did one of those, like, mid-verse drops. Like, usually they save it until, like, the end of a section. Like, either end of a verse or end of a pre-chorus or whatnot to get a little bit heavier. But those heavy guitars are coming right in a third into the second verse here. Interesting. Okay.
If maybe it's all just a game.
We got some running water in the back.
Open my eyes to the future. I can hear you say my name.
Ooh.
So rain down on me.
Oh, okay. All right. For a second there, I thought we were going straight into the heavy shit, but we're getting back into the stomps, and we'll probably be working up to it. Maybe we might not. There we go. This is the thing, it's the same rhythm. It's the same standard sleep token heavy bit. And again, I don't want to make it sound like I don't like it. It sounds great. It sounds fine. What I'm asking is for a little bit of rhythmic variety, is what I'm asking for. Obviously, I'm going to enjoy this for what it is, but I am also saying that this is good, but it can be better, right? I don't get on me for being like Sleep Token can be better. Don't come at me with freaking this band that I love very, very much and is perfect and could never be any better. This band is made up of human beings. From what I've heard, two people, two human beings that can get better at their crafts, listen to music, learn some new fills, learn some new rhythms, learn some new bass lines, whatever. They can get better than where they are. This is very, very good. This is very good music, but very good musicians can still get better. That's the fun thing about, working on an instrument for a long time, is you can get to a point where you're like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this, and then you can keep getting better from there, right? So, this is what I'm saying, is like, this is an area where I think the band could improve. Nice. Cool. Oh, and we got some running water. Okay. We got the rains. Cool. Okay. So I think I know how this fits in. Okay, so in the last song, there was this request at the very end of smile at me, right? Please smile at me. And then first verse of this song. So we got the first verse. We have, for so long I have waited, so long that I almost became just a stoic statue fit for nobody. And I don't want to get in your way. Which is kind of where we were left in Do You Wish That You Loved Me? Then we say, but I finally think I can say that the vicious cycle was over the moment you smiled at me. So that request has finally been made. There's been a response. And then we go into the chorus, and just like the rain, you cast the dust into nothing and wash out the salt from my hands. So touch me again. I feel my shadow dissolving. Will you cleanse me with pleasure? Which then, becomes the question of is this continuing? Is this also a piece of, the toxic cycle that we also find throughout all of their music, right? Is this all the same narrative, or is it more than one? I would like to think that it's more than one. That you can, be telling different stories through your work. I understand that this album is also meant to be sort of the third in a trilogy of their current 3 albums. This is the concluding album to the trilogy, and thus there is a certain, pressure to resolve whatever central narrative they're looking at, but there have also been a lot of sort of side plots, I think, popping up along here. And so the question is, which narrative is this song part of? Verse 2 goes, it's that chemical cut that I can get down with. Up like the moon and out like the hounds, a dangerous disposition somehow, refracted in light, reflected in sound. I'm coiled up like the venomous serpent, tangled in your trance, and I'm certain you have got your hooks in me. And I know the way that it goes. You get what you give, you reap what you sow, and I can see you in my fate. And I know I am what I am, the mouth of the wolf, the eyes of the lamb, so darling, will you saturate? So maybe this is more referring to that sort of unhealthy relationship that they keep coming back to. That sort of vicious cycle of being addicted to a person, basically, right? And this is sort of a relapse. And then the bridge goes, nobody can say for certain if maybe it's all just a game. When I open my eyes to the future, I can hear you say my name. So there is this sort of, there's still this tangible link from the, singer to the other person. Whether it's sleep or whether it's a past partner, there is this idea that maybe it is just a one-sided affair, and that the other person is just kind of in it for themselves. But I like the fact that it is hard to tell. Part of me is like, this is the following up of the narrative, and Vessel has gotten a response from Sleep and is thus brought back into the fold, for better or for worse. And, maybe this is sort of the link between the two narratives. Of you have this narrative of returning to a toxic relationship, linking up with Vessel reuniting with Sleep. Of now these two roads are kind of converging into this same story point. Maybe. I'm open to that being the answer. Okay. We are on to the second last and longest song on the album, the titular track, Take Me Back to Eden. This song is a little over 8 minutes long, and I am so ready. This is clearly supposed to be the big climax of the album, or it seems like that what it could be. Let's see how this goes. Okay. How are we starting here? Starting with some weird nature sounds. Ooh, that's uncomfy. What are those noises? What is that supposed to be? I don't... Oh, hello. Okay. Ooh. I'm sorry, what was that sound? Sounded like a large creature, like a very large creature. Oh, I guess if we're in Eden, are we already in Eden? Have we already been taken back to Eden? Is this just like what the garden sounds like? Okay. We are in with some standard heavy sleep token is what this is. Like, all right, I'm gonna not rag on them anymore on that, but I hope you see what I mean. Like, this is at least like the fourth or fifth time that we've heard this sort of heavy rock bit, and I'm just saying you can do more. You can do it different. Okay, we're almost 5 minutes in now, so we're past halfway. I think from the way that they're doing this song, they're gonna need to have a few more like different musical bits to this. So I don't know. I mean, we're heading straight into verse 3 here. I don't know if they're gonna go back into the sort of hip hop beats. Again, we could do that. That'd be fine, but it would be sort of a repetition of that bit, and I feel like they could build on that or do something different with another verse. But we'll see. We'll see, but I am hoping to hear a few different things. If I hear another standard sleep token breakdown in this song, I'm going to be a little unhappy. I've got my eye on these kids. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is a different energy. This is a different choice, and I like it. All right, how are we sounding for this next chorus? Okay. All right, we got a minute and a half left. What are we doing with it? Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. 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 All right, this is a cool final choice. This is good. I feel like they've done a breakdown like this before, including in this album, including the like high screamy bits, but it's like I said, it's been few and far between enough that it's nice. It's a welcome return. Are they? I'm sorry. Really? A fade out on that? Like, really? Of all the breakdowns to do a fade out on, I feel like that one would be one of the easiest to just, like, chop off at a nice snappy end. Like, maybe that's some sort of, like, narrative reason that, like, something is just continuing to go on. Of, like, maybe that's the traveling bit. But, that feels a bit... That felt weird. And a little lazy. That makes me sad. Okay, let's take a look at some of these lyrics, because it is still an 8.5-minute song. Verse 1, I dream in phosphorescence, bleed through spaces, see you drifting past the fog, but no one told you where to go. We dive through crystal waters, perfect oceans, but no one told me not to breathe. And now the weightlessness recedes. So maybe we're getting into a lot more. We're getting back into the like ocean imagery that we had in This Place Will Become Your Tomb, which is interesting, as in we drive through crystal waters, perfect oceans, but no one told me not to breathe. So this is a weird, like, cyclical thing. The chorus is, my, those eyes like fire. I'm a winged insect. You're a funeral pyre. Come now, bite through these wires. I'm a waking hell, and the gods grow tired. Reset my patient violence along both lines of a pathway higher. Grow back your sharpest teeth, you know my desire. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure I entirely understand. And then the refrain is, I will travel far beyond the path of reason, take me back to Eden. It seems like the singer is like asking for some kind of permission of release, right? Like they want to like let loose for a very specific person. They want to like inflict their wrath upon something. But they need like both ability and permission, maybe? Verse 3 I'll go to, which goes, I guess it goes to show, does it not, that we've no idea what we've got until we lose it. Which is, yeah, it does go to show, which is usually something that is said before you say a cliche thing, which he does then follow up with, you don't know what you have until it's gone. And it does go to show sometimes. And no amount of love will keep it around if we don't choose it. And I don't know what's got its teeth in me, but I'm about to bite back in anger. No amount of self-sought fury will bring back the glory of innocence. Okay, so there's this idea of like frustration from what you have lost and wanting to lash out from that frustration, even though they're aware that no amount of self-sought fury will bring back the glory of innocence. Like, being angry about what you have lost isn't going to bring it back. Bring back the thing that you have lost. It's just gonna, you know, maybe it'll be something of a release. Maybe it'll be a little cathartic. But it's not going to solve your problem. And then the post-chorus is, when we were made, I know it was no accident. You know my desire. We were tangled up like branches in a flood, which is a reference back to Chokehold, where it's like, when we were made, I know it was no accident. We were made with a purpose. You know what I want to do. We were tangled up like branches in a flood. The entire thing here has been to sort of untangle these branches, to sort through all of this stuff. And in doing so, I have traveled far beyond the path of reason, take me back to Eden, which now, maybe that's a request to take it back to like before you tried untangling all this stuff. Like, maybe we're concluding it with this thing of like, maybe I put too much work into untangling these things, and maybe I should have just like settled with the fact that some of it can't be untangled, which is a valid point. All right, we're gonna move on to the final song on the album, Euclid, which I'm not actually familiar with what the word Euclid means. I just know what it means in the context of SCP containment breach. Oh, Euclid was a Greek mathematician. And so when you're talking about like Euclidean physics or Euclidean spaces or non-Euclidean physics, those are things that like run against what we know about the laws of physics and space. Like a non-Euclidean space could be like a impossible stairway sort of MC Escher sort of situation. So with that all in mind, let's take a little listen to this final track. Ooh. Some nice, bright, major key piano. Okay.
Just run it back, give me 5 whole minutes. I am thick tower on the inside burning. I've got a ghost in the hallway grinning, and a heavy head that won't stop turning. If my fate is a bad collision, and if my mind is an open highway, give me the twilight two-way vision. Give me one last ride on a sunset skylake.
Ooh.
When you get the chance,
Ooh.
I can feel the walls around me closing in.
Also very reminiscent of The Love You Want. Those like stacked harmonies with like everything else dropped out.
I just need to leave this part of me behind. Do you
Okay.
remember me?
Ooh. Ooh. Whoa. What?
Rain gathers.
That's... Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool. This is... Oh, that's so cool. The freaking alternating between, like those shots and then snapping right back into the piano is so cool. I love that.
Matters for me.
Oh.
It's still the autumn leaves. These ancient canopies.
Nice.
The way you
We got those eighth notes on the ride cymbal to nicely build them back up. I do that a lot.
know.
Nice.
No. The night belongs to you. This power's broken through. I must be someone new.
All right. Nice. See, so they're doing the same like sort of rhythm that I've been talking about, but I'm okay with it in this case because vocally we're having this really cool complex layering of the, I guess, chorus, or I guess the verse 3 plus verse 1. You got these two layered verses and these two layered melodies over it, and so you want that very simple, like open rhythm to kind of facilitate that, and it sounds great. In this case, I really like it. Hmm. Hmm. Oh. Nice. Oh my gosh. That's the end of that. Okay, that was lovely. I really liked that song. Especially as like sort of this conclusion to this album and the trilogy. That's a really neat, and by like neat I mean like tidy way to kind of bring things to a close. Right? It kind of like it feels like an epilogue, even just from like this sort of like major key that it's placed in, to the like sort of combination of the different verses being played during what I guess is being called the bridge, There's a lot. We're doing a lot in the bridge this time around. Of all of these, like, truths and lessons coming together into this single sort of overarching conclusion, seems to be what they were doing here. And I think I will just focus on the bridge here, because it kind of contains everything from the song that we need to know about. So the stuff that is not in brackets is, no, for me, it's still the autumn leaves, these ancient canopies we used to lay beneath. No, by now, the night belongs to you. This bough has broken through. I must be someone new. Vessel is kind of coming to terms with, like, the things that matter for me right now. It's just where I've been. It's the leaves, it's the little things, it's these changing seasons, which autumn is often used as a sort of analogy for the night belongs to sleep, and this bough is broken through, which I wonder if that means a thing of, like, I'm done. You know, I made it out. I got out. I must be someone new. Right? I think that's a fitting thing to say, like, at the end of this 3-album arc, is Vessel saying, I gotta rework some stuff about me right now, because coming to the end of a phase. And then the stuff in brackets here that's also going through is, just run it back, give me 5 whole minutes. I am thick tar on the inside burning. I've got a ghost in the hallway grinning, and a heavy head that won't stop turning. If my fate is a bad collision, and if my mind is an open highway, give me the twilight two-way vision. Give me one last ride on a sunset sky lane. Just running forwards, a life like wires, as I see the past on an empty ceiling. I play along with the life signs anyway, but hope to God you don't know this feeling. Yet in reverse you are all my symmetry, a parallel I would lay my life on. So if your wings won't find you heaven, I will bring it down like an ancient bygone. It's all this stuff of, like, if this is an ending, and if I haven't necessarily found what I have been looking for, you know, I still have issues. There's still a ghost in the hallway grinning, and a heavy head that won't stop turning. Like, there's still these, like, demons that they're dealing with. Give me the twilight two-way vision. Give me one last ride on a sunset sky lane. Like, give me the time to be able to, like, have these quiet moments. And the ability to introspect. Yeah. And then the final verse, the outro, is the whites of your eyes turn black in the low light. In turning divine, we tangle endlessly, like lovers entwined. I know for the last time, you will not be mine, so give me the night. Yeah, so the piano plays a familiar melody, which I guess is from one of their earlier songs, from their first full album, singing familiar lyrics. The trilogy ends by going full circle, calling back to the very beginning of this 3-album journey. So I guess these lyrics are from an older song, but now being recontextualized, we tangle endlessly like those branches. I know for the last time you will not be mine. Of this thing of, like, I know that I'm not gonna get from you what you get from me. So just, like, let me do with the night what I can. Let me have what I can during the night. Which is a really cool way to end that. So that is the end of Take Me Back to Eden, and the end of that 3-album arc for Sleep Token. Cool. that went really well. I really like that album. I do still think, I think This Place Will Become Your Tomb is gonna remain my favorite, but this one is a close second. I'm not saying it's definitively my favorite, but for now I think I have stronger feelings about it than I do about this one. Maybe I'll give it another, like, a full listen through on my own, and maybe my feelings will change from that. But this is a very impressive album. They have definitely improved as a band. They're trying different things. They're sinking more into, like, their blending of different genres, which I would encourage them to continue into. And find as many different stylistic musical choices to work into their stuff as they can. But good work so far. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. If you have thoughts, feelings, comments on my comments, or maybe your own interpretations of the songs, please let me know in the comments. The people that have been commenting on my Sleep Token, This Place Will Become Your Doom video, have been very, very gracious, very nice. It's been a really cool, like, fan base to interact with. So would love to hear from you as to your thoughts, including on my handful of criticisms later on into the album. Not calling myself an expert, but as someone that plays music enough to know how to communicate these things, there's always going to be things that I wish I could hear in music. But yeah, if you like the video, you can click the like button, leave your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, maybe this is a good time to do that. Try to do this every couple weeks or so, and then a lot of it's gaming. I do some audio theater with my friends. If you're interested in any of that, maybe you want to subscribe. You can also ring the bell if you want to support me financially. I have a Ko-fi, link is in the description. I also have a merch store, link to which is also in the description. You can go check that out. And yeah, until next time, thank you so much. I'll see you later.